Hi. You're right. We should have just for the thumbnail.
We should have had money. Like I have like $6 in my account. And be like, yeah.
No. It's important we sit here looking like a still shot from the movie Trapped in Paradise with Dana Carvey and Nicolas Cage. It is really cold out there, but I might have like overlayered up a little bit because I'm actually really kind of hot right now. Like, son of a bitch. This is the latest I think we've done one of these in a long time.
Oh, it's fine. It's only 1:30.
Oh, no, don't get me wrong. I'd be up anyway, but like...
Right, yeah.
We caught a 1040 screening of this, and it's about a 2-hour and 15-minute movie, so... So anyway, yeah, I don't think we've been out here this late since the first year we were doing this show,
I know, yeah. Well, no,
where they actually were at midnight.
Well, you're accommodating me, and so that's what. Oh, it's so just little old me. So it's demanding and everything.
Usually when I'm at something like in the 10 o'clock hour, it's not like an Oscar contender like this. It's something like me and Irving going to see Bad Moms Christmas at like 10 o'clock at night. That doesn't get out at 1 in the morning.
That was an option? I didn't know that was an option.
Christmas is over, man.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that movie stayed around 2 months. No, I think Daddy's Home 2 might still be playing in there.
Let's go, man. What are we waiting on here?
24-hour movie theater.
If
I can't sleep, I'll just go out and see something at 3 in the morning.
Why not?
So we got out of Ridley Scott's new movie, All the Money in the World, which first and foremost, now we'll get to the other stuff later, but...
I don't know, what possibly could you be talking about?
Not to address the elephant in the car yet. But, so this is Ridley Scott's movie, in which Christopher Plummer is J.P. Getty, the oil man billionaire who in the early 70s, his grandson was kidnapped, and he refused to pay the ransom, and it's this story about the kid's mother, who's Michelle Williams, basically doing what she can to try to either get the kid rescued or just try hard to raise enough money, because she doesn't have money. She's divorced from Getty's son, who's this strung out drug addict, and she only gets child support from him because she takes care of all the kids because he's off in some hookah village somewhere.
Right, yeah.
And this movie is just right off the bat, it's great. Yeah. I mean, this is among career best for most people involved in this movie. This is one of the best Ridley Scott movies I've seen in a long time. Not even to say that there's been stuff he's had recently that I haven't liked. I like The Martian a lot. This one, you can tell this is a passion project for him. Yeah. You can tell that he's in love with this project. That this isn't just like, it's kind of a studio movie, blah, 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 or it's a summer popcorn movie or whatever. Like, no, you can tell he's putting his best. He's putting his all in this film.
Yeah, it is well conceived. It is taut.
It is,
I mean, just really, really fascinating. And it takes something that, there's the historical element that we all know how it ends. I mean, more or less. I mean, they get him back. You know that he wasn't killed by the mafia, his kidnapper. So you know that they get him back. So but you're going along on this journey, and the way it's told, and what they tell you versus what they don't tell you, versus what they show and what you see, it makes it very interesting to watch. Very interesting to watch.
One thing I did like about this is because I kind of knew about the story a little bit, not to the point to where I knew how it ended. Not that I thought he was gonna get killed or just disappear or something like that, but I was really interested in the sense where I didn't know exactly how this story was going to end. And it gets scary at times. Like, there is a really good relationship in the movie between him and one of the kidnappers,
right,
where the kidnapper actually starts kind of caring for him a bit,
right.
like, and wants to see him live, and to the point to where the rest of the kidnappers want to cut off his foot, but because the guy likes him, he's doing what he can, and he's
right,
like, okay, I talked him down to an ear,
right,
like, you can see that this guy is, in this world that he lives in, does care about this kid.
Right.
And I liked that. And it does get scary when, like, they have to sell the kid at one point, and
right.
I'm sitting there like, man, I don't know where this is going. And I mean that positively. Like, I really don't know where this story's going.
Well, even, like, you know, I've read, part of the account, and I've seen, like, a documentary, like a crime documentary about this kidnapping.
Yeah.
So, like, I knew like certain things that happened to him, like his ear getting cut off and some certain things like that. I knew that those things happened, but again, the way that they tell the story and the way that certain, like, that kind of half escape happens when he's picked up by a police officer, and it's meant to be like, oh, maybe it's okay, but no, he's been sold to the mob that owns, like, this whole part of Italy, so the cop was working for the mafia guys and just gave him right back.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's and the way they do it, again, it's done so incredibly well for what, again, could be a boring subject. I mean, just, calling back and forth and, like,
or a remake of Ransom.
Or,
as much as I love Ransom.
Why is Mel Gibson suddenly in this? I know what he's going to do. Give me back my son.
Even in the 70s, they were celebrating Jimmy Shaker Day. One thing that I really loved about this movie is how it makes wealth look really ugly.
It does.
Like,
yes.
super ugly. Among the most I've seen in a movie like this, because here is a movie that shows extravagance, that shows pure wealth, from art dealing to building villas, to just an obscene amount of wealth that this guy has. But it is a gloomy movie.
Yes,
like,
it is gray. Like, the things with Getty are usually, like, there is no color.
Yeah.
Like, it might as well be black and white, but it's so desaturated. This man has no color.
Yeah.
His world is bleak.
Yes.
And sterile, and just, I mean, there's beautiful masterpieces everywhere, and Roman art and statues, but it looks cold.
Yeah.
And frail.
And
it's
they do a really great job of bringing that point home here, because while he's sitting there talking about his villas and stuff like that, it's just, you see how soulless this guy is in this movie, and how bleak this story is, and that wealth is just bringing no happiness here at all. And it gets sad and frustrating when this guy won't pay anything for this grandson that he supposedly loves. And they do a great job at the beginning of the film of setting up this relationship between him and his grandson.
Right.
You do see moments where they do care about one another.
Right.
And he won't, while he's not paying this ransom, it's showing him spend millions on this artwork or negotiating deals for these villas, and then you find out that this item that was given to the grandson as a kid turns out was just like a trinket from a gift shop.
Right. Yeah, Getty explains how extremely valuable it is and how shrewd of a negotiator he was to get it from this crippled seller in Cairo or something like that. And then after when she thinks, oh my God, he said this was worth so much, I could sell it, and then the dealers say, no, this is a trinket, this is worth nothing.
That was just heartbreaking, and Michelle Williams is so good in this.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Like, this is one of my favorite performances of the year. She's an actress. She's going to be one of those actresses that is like Meryl Streep, where about every other movie she puts out, she's going to get some kind of award nomination or recognition for. She's so good in this movie. And I love having this Mark Wahlberg back too.
Yeah.
I really like Mark Wahlberg a lot, and I love, as much as I love blockbuster Mark Wahlberg. Because blockbuster Mark Wahlberg can still be really fun. He can act dramatically between Boogie Nights or The Departed and things like that, or Patriots Day. I like that movie.
Oh, sure, yeah. Well, and what's interesting about this is that, I mean, the character was, it was all about his negotiation.
Yeah.
It was all about how smart of a negotiator he was.
Uh-huh.
There was, he was ex-CIA.
Yeah.
And you could have, which, the guy really was. I mean, you could have made this at any point to a badass action hero.
Yeah.
Well, he talks about he never carries a gun.
Uh-huh.
He doesn't do anything action.
Mm-hmm.
It's just about his performance as this negotiator.
Mm-hmm.
And how he talks to certain people and certain things, and even how he confronts Getty at a certain point.
And he was so intimidating in that scene.
It was amazing, yeah. And I mean, but and even to his prowess as an actor, going toe to toe with Christopher fucking Plummer.
Yeah.
With Captain Von Trapp. I mean, he went toe to toe with him in this scene, and legitimately intimidates the hell out of Christopher Plummer.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great scene, and it's Mark Wahlberg, and he did it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's really great.
He easily every actor carries their own in this movie.
Yeah.
From Christopher Plummer, of course, to Michelle Williams, definitely, and Mark Wahlberg, and the kid, and the kidnapper. I'm blanking on the actor's name, but the guy who played the kidnapper.
Yeah. It was really interesting how they portrayed his character.
Yeah.
And being and having this incredible sympathy.
Yeah.
To him, he becomes a sympathetic character. I mean, he's the guy who kidnapped him. But he ends up being kind of a hero,
like his friend,
and kind of saves him a far worse fate.
Yeah.
From these much more evil mafiosos that were gonna just rip him apart.
They were gonna brutalize the kid.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. All right, now to talk about
that thing.
This is kind of this is a controversial movie, and unfortunately, I don't know how well this movie is doing, and it's one that deserves to do well. It deserves to do very, very, very well. And what would you have done? You've directed movies.
The thing is this was the only option. This was the only option, because had it have been released with Kevin Spacey, among this incredible controversy, I mean, he's destroyed. His career's gone, and it should be. I mean, it's fine. The shit he's taken, good. But the problem is, and it's the same problem with the crew of House of Cards.
Yeah,
it's that because he's an asshole, this incredible film could have been gone. It might have lost distribution. Theaters might have said, we're not putting this on our screens.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have been that bad. And as excellent as this movie was, it deserved to be seen. So the only option was to take a major character who's in a fair portion of
this movie.
I mean, if it was just he's in one or two scenes and we'll just cut. No, he's in most of the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a major character who has a lot of scenes in a lot of locations that are extremely important.
Yeah. And you can tell, and there is one shot where you can tell it's Kevin Spacey.
That it's the back of his head, and it's maybe that was Kevin Spacey. Then
there was one shot, and it was a shot where I could understood why they couldn't redo it.
Right, yeah.
And I kind of read about that before the movie. So he is technically in the movie.
I guess he is still kind of... I mean, it's hard. I mean, I think it took him several $1 million, and then $10 million, and I think 9-10 days or something or more.
Yeah, I mean, it's impressive. And you know what? I'll say this. Had this movie been released with Kevin Spacey, this is just me. I know everyone's different, and I know everyone has legit reasons for feeling the way they do whenever a movie features somebody like everything that's gone on with Kevin Spacey.
Right.
I still would have had no problem reviewing this movie objectively.
Sure. Well,
I wouldn't have. maybe I'm just used to that.
Sure.
Maybe
sure.
I'm just and also it's my job.
Well, right.
Like
yeah,
it is my job. Like but even beyond that, I grew up still being able to watch a movie. I can still go back and watch Seven and The Usual Suspects
of course we can.
and American Beauty
of
and
course
things
we
like
can.
that.
Of course
and,
we can.
And if this movie had been released like it was, I absolutely still would have very fairly reviewed this movie.
Sure, of course.
And his performance as well.
Right, exactly. It's separating the art from the artist, if you will.
Yeah.
And it's, he probably still would have done an incredible performance. Like somewhere there might be a release of this where you can actually
I'm curious to see it. I'm curious to see it.
But 20 years maybe we'll see that. But
with that being said, I understand them doing what they did, especially because it's an awards season movie.
Right.
Had this been a throwaway January movie, I don't know if they would have done that, but like they probably wouldn't have.
They probably would have shelved it. They probably would have shelved it and maybe waited for this to blow over, or maybe waited for an apology tour from Kevin Spacey in 10 years, in like 5 years from now. It's like, oh look, there's a Getty movie out with Kevin Spacey.
But this movie is it is that great.
Mm-hmm.
And while I don't have much hang-ups really in sitting and watching a movie with somebody like that in it, I realize not everybody is like that, and I understand that.
Sure. And I mean, I agree with you. I totally agree with you that I could have watched it with Kevin Spacey and judged it for its true merits.
Yeah.
The problem is that the public outrage with the movement that's happening is that
and I get that.
They would have, like AMC would have said, we're not showing this movie. And then Edwards would have followed suit, and so would have Regal, and so would have everyone else.
Sure.
And then they would have lost all their distribution, and they would have this...
For a movie that needs to be seen.
And it's very unfortunate. I think that, Ridley Scott, pulled the trigger. He did exactly what he had to do. And he got Christopher Plummer.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like
who is great in the movie. And here's the thing too, like at the beginning of the movie, was I a little distracted? Sure.
Yeah.
Because trailers for this movie already came out with Kevin Spacey.
Right,
You've seen him do some of these lines before.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen what he looks like in the character. So at first, I was seeing it sort of as like, okay, it's this successful experiment that's been pulled off, that Ridley Scott pulled this off and got this movie released and shot with all these scenes with Christopher Plummer in 9 days. And it's incredibly impressive that he did it. And so the first couple of scenes with him, I was distracted by that a little bit, and also due to I was kind of picturing in my head what it might have been like the other way.
Right.
And one compliment I'll give it in terms of that is because there were scenes where I was trying to where I couldn't help but maybe play it in my head how this went with Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
But anytime I did that, it was never better than what Christopher Plummer was doing, because Christopher Plummer, honestly, is a way better fit for this character than Kevin Spacey is. As great of an actor as Kevin Spacey is, Christopher Plummer, if anything else, he's age appropriate for it.
True.
You're not going to be distracted by the old man makeup on his face.
Yeah, no, he didn't need it.
You're not going to be distracted by any of that on screen. And honestly, it's like, really, Christopher Plummer should have been given this role to begin with.
Probably should have been him first of all. Yeah.
And I read something about that where I think Ridley Scott did originally want him, but it was the studio that wanted Kevin Spacey.
Right. Maybe, possibly.
But Christopher Plummer was... I never throughout this movie thought that, this scene would be so much better with Kevin Spacey.
No.
Christopher Plummer he just suits this character, this role, this age.
Yeah,
better.
You're so right. I mean, it does feel like it was written for him, and then they're like, no, we should put Kevin Spacey in there, and then the studio's like, oh my God, why did you choose Kevin Spacey? You should have used Christopher Plummer.
Yeah,
because studios do shit like that.
And I never would have had I not known anything about the making of this movie beforehand for whatever reason. I wouldn't have known.
No.
I wouldn't have. it's seamless. It's incredibly seamless.
It's seamless. Like, there's never that moment of, like, Mark Wahlberg's talking to the back of a head, and then suddenly it's a poorly green screened,
Yeah, no, not at all.
They went back to the locations. They got it all there. It's all seamless. It's incredibly well done, and it's daunting to have seen the actual film. I mean, even as an editor, thinking to myself, oh my God, I have to cut out like 40% of this movie and then put it in with completely reshot stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's incredible. I mean, to Ridley Scott and his team to have pulled that off in less than a month.
It's insane. It's 9 days, was it?
I think that's what I read. Like 9 days.
Something like that. It's crazy. And it fits in here fucking perfectly. And it's such... And the movie itself is such an intense ride.
Yeah.
It is such a fantastic, great fucking movie that as it goes along, I wasn't sitting there thinking like, I wonder how they did this. I wonder how they did this. I wonder how they did this and this. You get really engrossed in the story. Certainly towards the beginning of the movie, I was thinking in my head.
I was still. I mean, you and I were even pointing out, like, I wonder if that was Spacey and that. After a while, it's just gone. It's all Christopher Plummer.
Yeah.
He owns the role.
Yeah.
And
He might get an Oscar nomination.
I mean, he might. I mean, he really might. That's
so many of these actors. Michelle Williams definitely deserves it. That'll be really wrong if she doesn't.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, she's incredible in this.
Yeah,
I mean, she's one of those actresses that you're right. That it's just really great in about anything you put her.
Oh, dude, yeah.
And this is a wonderful part for her. The performance, the nuance of her performance of this mother who is, going through the unimaginable.
Yeah,
her child being kidnapped and having to live. And I think what was also interesting is the whole point of because Christopher Plummer, as J. Paul Getty, talks about, being a Getty is being a symbol. A Getty is being a this. Well, she's a Getty by marriage. So she has none of the benefits of being a Getty, but all of the liabilities.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks she has money. Everybody thinks she's the richest woman in the world when she has really nothing.
Yeah.
And so seeing how she, lives with that, and yet still is this powerhouse to get, doing everything she can to get her son back is awesome. I mean, she does it so well.
That was a funny line too, where when they first call her to say her son's been kidnapped, and they say like, "We have your son," and she's like, "Oh, thank God!"
Right? Where is he?
Where is he? Or something like that. I laughed at that, and part of me was like, that feels like a line I'd write in the movie. It kind of is a little that spoony line in the Snob movie. Oh, thank God. That got a good chuckle out of me. That was good. I enjoyed that. But no, this is hands down. This is one of the best movies I've seen this year. Easily, this is one of the best movies I've seen this year. In terms of what's playing in theaters now, we had someone in the super chat some minutes ago ask if I was going to see The Shape of Water. I really do want to see The Shape of Water. It's not playing in Springfield right now.
No, it's not?
No. Dude, The Disaster Artist hasn't even come here.
Really?
I went to Champaign to go see that. Maybe I'll have to do that with The Shape of Water as well.
All right.
The Shape of Water's not playing here. There was something else I was asked about. Something else I was asked about on Tumblr earlier, and I can't remember because I responded with a smart-ass remark, so I can't remember what I said. Well, I get asked that a lot, and the answer is always, if it comes to Springfield, I'll see it. We'll see it. So it's like I've run out of so many ways to say that, so I just responded in just a random GIF that I would pull up on Tumblr. Like, what is that? Is that a yes or a no? I don't know. It's a spider disco dancing. I guess that means he'll see it. I can't remember, but eventually I'll see it. I hope it comes to Springfield.
Well, if not, you've got me in L.A. I'll go.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I'll go out there.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank God we got Let There Be Light, though. That's really all that matters. I know we'll get God's Not Dead 3 when that comes here next year.
Oh, Lord.
Any final thoughts about the movie?
I mean, final thoughts were, I mean, it was great.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I did too.
As a really good story being told by a very good storyteller.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's a good story by a very good storyteller.
And it's been a while since I loved one of his this much. I really love this movie. So definitely get a chance and go out and see it. I hope more people go see this movie. I hope it gets a lot of recognition because it deserves it. So thanks a bunch, everyone in the chat.
Yes.
I'll talk to you later.
Bye.